All right, man. Wally, we are back. I'm spectating you until the time comes that I can race, so the pressure's on, right?
Yes, sir.
But
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
it's you, Wally Wynn, and myself, Dr. Kendo. You and I had a conversation just almost, that was like already like a month ago, dude. We were talking about the Switch 2. And so I just figured you and I both agreed that it'd be really cool to just kind of have this, like, for now, monthly discussion. We can't stay true to any schedule, right? But maybe monthly discussion for now.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, anyway, the most apropos thing would, of course, be Mario Kart World. I mean, you and I are hyped about it. And so,
Yeah.
I think that there's, like, always, whenever people start talking about Mario Kart World, there's, like, sort of this elephant, except for, I'll call it cow. There's always this, like, we got to address this cow in the room, you know?
Yeah.
Because the elephant Mario and Peach and all them are not in the game yet, all right, you guys? If they ever put in elephant Mario, then we could say elephant in the room. But anyway, and that is the price. So I think I'll let you talk to it first, but I definitely have some thoughts. But just in general, the sentiment obviously is that $80 is too much by a lot of people online, you know? You remember, lower the price, lower the price, lower the price. Remember that was the chat spam?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
So I'll let you start off. Just anything that you have to say about the price. Is it justified? Is it too high? Is it, just about right? All that stuff. Go.
So I feel like, personally, for me, I'm still giving it a chance. I still have an open mind. I get how some people, in some people's mind, they're like, is this worth $80 yet? Like, when you look in the gaming community and just out there in general, they put it out there like Nintendo shouldn't be selling any high games. That's like the thing. They don't. I guess they don't feel like Nintendo shouldn't like have an $80 game, but PS5 and no hate towards on Grand Theft Auto. 'Cause I like Grand Theft Auto, but that would be okay for an $80 game. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
But
they're saying like Grand Theft Auto could be 100.
right, but like, why Nintendo have any games that's that expensive? Nintendo shouldn't be having anything like that. But for me personally, I think the interview that they just had on Nintendo, when they talked more, about talk to the producers of the game and whatnot, and how they started production back in 2017. Like, we found out that Mario Kart World was really for the Switch One. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
you're referencing the developer. It's like Ask the Developer or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
developer, yeah.
yeah.
And so, and it gave me more insight of what they was going for the game. And again, for me, I still have an open mind for it. I'm like, look, I love Mario Kart. I love Nintendo games. I love Mario. For me, $80, I'm going to pay for it. Now, do I understand what people coming from? Have they really like? I guess they still haven't seen for themselves everything that Mario Kart World can offer yet. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I understand why they probably haven't felt like $80 haven't been justified yet, because when you look at Tears of the Kingdom, which was a $70 game, it kind of, they put it out there how big the game was going to be up front. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, we know Mario Kart World is open world, but we also know that that's going to be. I felt right in the toilet. They
So,
going to
the toilet.
right in the toilet. But but you got to see how huge like they put it out there how big Tears of the Kingdom was going to be. It has a sky area, the main area of the mainland, the underground area. Well, Mario Kart World, they're saying, oh, it's only 30 tracks so far. Yes, it's open world, but it's only 30 tracks in one look like continent. I guess it still haven't felt like it's been justified yet. But again, for me, I still have an open mind for it. What about you?
Yeah, so you and I addressed last time that we were talking that, like, you and I we're typically not, like, extreme people. It's like we love Nintendo, but, like, our viewpoints, we try to, like, find the balance between extremism. You and I have talked, like, politics just personally off recordings and stuff, and we're never, like, extreme to one side, you know what I mean? And so it's similar in, like, a vein of lots of societal issues and, like, obviously there's like a certain thing we might break that for, but usually you and I are just not extreme, and so I think we're both kind of trying to toe the line of like a balance here, and you're saying it in that like you kind of understand where people are coming from. Ultimately for me, it's like I know for a dipshit fact that like Mario Kart World is so incredibly likely to give me a complete worth of $80. Like it is completely worth that to me, because I know that Mario Kart 8 would have been, even without the booster like courses and all that stuff. To me, like, Mario Kart, it is the franchise for me. Like, this is like the Nintendo thing for me. That's very much an opinion, you know. You can't just tell other people, hey, you have to like it, because, like, you know, their thing may be Zelda, their thing may be Mario platformers, their thing may now be Splatoon or whatever other franchise. Obviously, I look at the whole picture. I love Nintendo, but Mario Kart is the franchise for me. And so I'm going to have an extreme bias, I know, right off the bat. So I want to say a few things about that, though. For one, I didn't get the game for $80. No, I had a choice to get it as a bundle. So I got it for $50 plus tax. You know what I mean? So you got it for $50. Yeah. So, like, you have the opening. Yes, they are going to end that in the fall. But to me, it's a strategy that people don't like because they don't get to wait. So I'll reference now, Wally, one of the unofficial or official other members of the task force. We talked about him last time, is Shambler. Shambler went ahead and canceled his pre-order. I don't know if I told you, but he did go through with that. And so he had pre-ordered the Switch 2, and he just said, you guys, I'm having second thoughts. He's like, I pretty much never buy a console at launch, because Shambler's always looking for the value prop of having like a ton of games. Now, you and I could go on like a way tangent on like what does the launch lineup look like. Like, that should probably be a whole nother like podcast like discussion, you know? So like, I probably shouldn't go down the whole rabbit hole of like what is the launch of Switch 2 comparatively to other companies, other Nintendo consoles, blah blah. So you guys can think that if you're listening to us out there, but you know, think about that. But essentially, that was Shambler's point. And so where I was going with that is ultimately somebody like that who maybe was going to pre-order it or is like canceling or kind of waiting for something, yeah, they're not going to be able to take advantage of like a $50 Mario Kart bundle unless that comes back somehow, you know, or maybe it's going to be a $50 bundle one day of like Zelda or Splatoon or some kind of thing that they like make another, you know, Switch 2 a year from now, or, you know, we can only theorize what could come in the future. So you and I, Wally, I think we're pretty aligned on this, but like, to me, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world of the United States especially, but I mean, really the world. The world is affected by what the United States does, unfortunately, and that is clearly just...
Y'all, we're going through it.
Yeah, but clearly what I'll say is it's tariffs. I'm going to just name it. You know what I mean? It's this tariff thing. It has every business, small, big. You know, Walmart is like, yeah, so we're going to have to like raise prices because, you know, we can't fucking pay for the tariffs. Yeah, I cuss, by the way. But yeah, it's like, okay, so you're just flat out admitting, yeah, we're going to send this to the customers. Because we all know that's how it works, but Walmart's just saying it out loud. But anyway, so the point being with that for Switch 2 is like, well, Wiley, you and I kind of know, I really doubt that the Switch 2 is going to go down in price, you know, at some point. That would have to be years and years and years away, but the thing is, Switch 1, I don't think it went down in price on any permanent basis, right?
No, not that I can think of, no.
It's like, sure, okay, there's like probably a Black Friday deal, or like there was like a, you know, for a few months they had some other bundle deal that you could do, right? So like I'm kind of discounting that. Because that's what this is. That's what you and me did, is we did a temporary kind of one-time bundle. And so, yes, that's a very long way of saying, like, Wally and I are taking advantage of not only that, communication error. Was that you too, or is it just me?
I'm good. I got first.
Man, it kicked me out. That is unfortunate. Let me try to finish my point, though, since I've been talking for a long time, but I'll just say essentially that, you know, that's like a long way to say, yeah, we're getting the game for $50, but like, we're taking advantage, man, because like, I think if anything happens to the price, that's on a more permanent basis, so I'm not talking about Black Friday sales, I'm not talking about one deal bundles, is that it would only go up, I think. If anything's going to happen to the price action, is it's going to go up. And so that's my only hypothesis. It's going to stay the same or it's going to go up. I really don't think it's going to go down at some point. Because Nintendo's Doug Bowser himself, God love him, he said, we actually didn't factor in the price of the console, which I thought they did. But he said, we didn't factor in the tariffs into this, you know? So that $500 with Mario Kart is without tariffs considered. And I thought they were considering like potential tariffs in this whole thing. But hey, they said it's without. So, yeah, all those things considered, man, I think that, yeah, it's like, I don't think anyone does like to pay $80. I would love for a game to be, like, very low priced, but I knew that even not Mario Kart, so, like, there are going to be other games out there. We are heading to an $80 game industry. And that goes to an industry question at large rather than everybody else who says, like, screw Nintendo, it's their fault, this is why there's $80. This was going to absolutely happen. I could say for sure, I don't have psychic powers, but I bet to God holy hell that there would have been an $80 game that was not Nintendo if this didn't happen.
Yeah, and I'm gonna miss my homie Sham, not having it on release day, but man, I understand if he would probably feel different. It was a game that he really really enjoyed, like Splatoon or something. He'd probably be like, okay, yeah, bet, day one. And Mario Kart, while he probably like it and whatnot, it probably is just not that game for him to get it right now. Even though, yes, more games probably come out later that he will get it, and I understand where he's coming from. I totally do. That's how it was with the PS5 originally. I didn't want it from the get go. I waited until 2022. 3. I mean, even though it was hard to get, but I didn't even try to get one until then because like I wasn't waiting for a price drop, but it was just I was more so waiting for when I wanted more games and more options before I even considered buying one. So I understand where Sham's coming from for sure. But I'm mostly like about the people that's complaining just to complain. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of those.
Because there's a lot of them that just complaining just to bitch and moan about it. I mean, you got the right to have your opinion. Everyone does, but you know when people are just complaining for, like they got to complain about something. They got to find something wrong. They look for shit that ain't even fully justified. But I'm like, whatever.
That's the tough thing about social media, among many other things, is it's like I do appreciate social media. It gave me an extra source of income in the form of content creation, but it's like we are definitely all so mentally messed up because of it, because you can't even enjoy stuff. You can't even express yourself right, because in today's age, everybody lives on that social, and so it's just like, man,
you're canceled.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just like, I guess I'm just trying to say, it's like, dude, you think about anything that's posted out there, it could have a detractor. What is something we can all love? Like puppies getting rescued? Someone will attack that. You know what I mean? Like, what is something everyone loves? It can still be attacked. So the point is with Mario Kart, I think, is just that, like, one thing that people try to do, but you can't do really, like if you rationally think about stuff in real life, and if you're having an argument, is you can't police people's opinions exactly. You were talking about opinions, and the phrase is like, opinions are like buttholes, because everyone has one and they all stink. So it's just like, the opinions, if you're trying to police somebody's opinion and say, yes, Mario Kart is worth this, or it is the system seller, so that is your opinion. And so you were just talking about Shambler, it's like he probably likes Mario Kart, but it may not be his opinion that it's a system seller for him right now. Right. We can't police that opinion. Like, you can't just be like, no, you're wrong. Right. The one thing you can point to, though, is factual data about the sales, and it is true that Mario Kart has consistently been a system seller in regards to Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart Wii. These are high-selling stakes for Nintendo that have paid off very well, very, very well for them.
Yeah.
So I can tell you also from my perspective, I had an allergist. By the way, I'm not allergic to anything. It's like I was trying to figure out, why do I have such bad headaches near my sinus and my nose and stuff every day, every damn day? Why do I have things that seem like allergies? So I went to an allergist doctor, and got tested, and I'm completely zero allergies. But anyway, he said, when he was asking about my content creation, he was like, oh, okay, so what's one video game? If you told me one video game to play, what is it? And I said, any Mario Kart, essentially, for a system you have. So let's say you got to switch to get that, Mario Kart World. And so it's like, to me, Mario Kart is the everybody game. Hardcore, beginners, casuals, whatever. Like, Mario Kart is it to me. So I hold Mario Kart in such high regard, too, though.
Yes, like I also love Mario Kart. I just have great memories growing up. Like, that's how I met you. Which we'll get more into that like later in Mario Kart World come out. We're gonna give you some stories, you guys.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
But that's why Mario Kart hold dear to me, because just friends for life that I have from that, memories growing up. With my brothers, with my cousins, like. from Super Mario Kart. I know we showing our age right now. We some
Oh
unks,
gosh, yeah.
we up in that age, but even Super Mario Kart and Super Nintendo, like I was playing it then as a kid. So I like you said, Mario Kart for me, yes, definitely a system seller. It's a great game for me to. I enjoy it. I love playing it, even when I'm playing online with people I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Getting our
I,
taints whooped.
for real, because like right now I'm in 11th, y'all.
I
I'm
just got into 6th.
I'm 12. so
Yeah.
so but it's just one of those games that I hold dear for sure. And I think you gave
Fuck!
your daughter great advice about a first type of game to pick up is Mario Kart. It's one of those family games. You know what I mean?
Dang it,
Um,
Wally!
I'm sorry.
You passed me at the last second.
I didn't even know I got up in the 8th. I was just accepting the fact that I was like in 11th.
Yeah, sure. But anyway.
But yeah, man. Just to answer that. Yes, Mario Kart is just one of those games for me that it's just I have a blast with it, no matter what. You know what I mean? You might get Mario Kart, it like just happen right then. Every now and again.
Yeah, it's
but
fun.
it's one of those games that that I love for sure.
I have a great time. My son can play it. He could pick it up at an early age and stuff. But before we leave the topic of pricing, I want to get back to the thought of like, okay, is the price ever going to decrease on a permanent basis? And no, I don't think so. Is it ever going to increase? That's probably because of tariffs, if anything. I don't know that they're going to increase it just of their own accord. But if tariffs happen, maybe. Like tariff-related incidents. But
Yeah.
anyway, getting aside from that, just somewhat related, is that I do buy a console at launch because to me it's an investment in the future of that console as well as the launch. So let's say that I did play, I'm trying to think of an example, like honestly, the console that I probably played the least that's a Nintendo console from launch and directly after, I'm not talking about like 3 months later, I'm just talking about directly, like in the weeks since the launch, was actually probably the Nintendo Wii. And I loved the Wii, I have no problem with it. It's just that's probably the one I played kind of the least directly. It's like Wii Sports carried me for a while, but I wasn't playing that religiously for months afterwards.
Yeah.
And then I did later. Well, that's the funny thing, is Wii Sports kind of picked up for me later. Ultimately, I am buying a system at launch for the investment of the entirety of its life. I'm not buying thinking like, I'm not gonna buy this because there's like one game now or 2 games now. Like I buy it for the fact that there's gonna be how many games by the time this thing's over. You see how long Switch lived? Switch 1? Man.
Yeah.
So it's like, that was a wonderful investment, and I got Switch 1 directly at launch. I was like the 16th person in line at GameStop. But anyway, yeah, so to me, it's like Switch 1, even, it was really just Breath of the Wild that kind of carried me through. I don't think I played it too extensively for a while until Odyssey came out and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's a perfectly valid thing too. I think it's like there's Shambler's way and there's other people's way who want to like wait till there's more stuff, and then there's my way of thinking where it's like it's probably not gonna go down in price except for a Black Friday thing or whatever that we referenced, but I'm investing in its future. Now, I did that with the PS4 5, and I regretted it. So it's like I got my PS5 in 2021, and it was actually pretty easy to get while it was really hard to get for people. And so like I just kind of got mine. But what happened to that is I was like, dude, I sold that crap because like I gave it a chance and it didn't have... To me, it didn't have good exclusives. It's like I played Ratchet and Clank, and it was one of the worst of the series to me, which sucks because I love those games. And so I thought that was going to save it. Everything else that I wanted to play was on PC, and that's kind of my preferably. And so it's like, I just know for a fact, though, that Nintendo is not going to be like, yeah, so we're just never going to release another Mario or Zelda game again. Like, I know that that's coming. So, like, of course I'm going to invest in it, I know that Nintendo's going to do it. It's not like they're just going to come out with Mario Kart and then there's going to be nothing that I want ever again. I know that is, because that's been the way it's been forever. I'm a Nintendo person. So, yeah, if you don't have anything else to say about pricing, we can move on, or you can give a last comment on pricing.
Yeah, I get where you coming from, and like for me, I know there's games that's going to come out later that I'm going to like. For me, I know Donkey Kong Bonanza, it might not be for everybody, but I'm excited for that. I'm getting it. You know what
Yeah,
I
like I
mean?
have zero interest in that, like I am not gonna get it, so it's just one of those things.
Metroid Prime 4, I'm getting it.
That one I'm gonna
Uh,
look at first, right? Like I'm gonna see you play it or something. I'm gonna see somebody play it and then I'll make a decision.
yeah,
I'm not sold on it yet, but like I am, for instance, on Hyrule Warriors, whereas a lot of people are like, nah, this looks crappy, So it's like everybody just has their own taste.
right, for sure.
But ultimately, there's another conversation. There's kind of two ways I think that we could go. So I wanted to go to this one next, is just that if you had to pick something that, let's say that you like that you've seen so far, now, seriously, that could be a lot of things, but like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind about something you like, and then potentially something that you kind of don't like so far that you've seen, which obviously could be wrong too. You might be like, I don't like this, but then when the game comes out, you might get surprised.
Yeah. So for me, like, I'm excited to find like the little Easter eggs. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but like when you driving like course to course, like
Mm-hmm.
during the intermission parts, they have like these little Easter eggs. Like, it's not considered, I guess, at the moment we don't know that actual main course, but like for Boost Cinema, you see like Ghost Valley 1, 2, and 3 in front of Boost Cinema. You know what I mean? Have you seen that? Notice that?
I don't think I noticed that specific one, but I've noticed the Easter eggs.
You would see like it's actually like Ghost Valley. If you look at the map, it's like Ghost Valley 1, 2, and 3 right in front of Boost Cinema. Then like when you going towards it's between, I want to say what's the game that's up here that the course that's Mario Kart 8 now that people don't like. I actually like it. The ice cream course. Why am I drawing the blank right now?
Is it an
Um
8?
it's in 8 as well. It's in the booster course pass, but it's going to be in Mario Kart World.
Isn't it
The
like sweet something? It's like sweet.
Yeah, the ice cream place. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Mountain.
Yes, like between that and Wario Shipyard, there's like Vanilla Lake. Like between there, like
Mm.
I'm excited to see what more Easter eggs we might see in the intermissions. You know what I mean? What little nuggets we're going to see out
Yeah.
there in the open world. And a lot of people I know I've seen some comments that say, oh, it looks boring, it's a lot of straightaways. But like, the interview with the developers and stuff, like they said,
Hmm.
that's why they put the tricks in there. You riding on the walls, the grinding, like,
Hmm.
that's why they're making it 24 players. And and I think we touched on this a little bit last time. But everyone that actually put their hands on the game, mind you, they were only playing it on 100cc. They were saying how they were still like they had to stay focused the whole time. It was entertaining to them. On the outside of them looking, again, the people that want to complain, haven't put their hands on the game. But
Yeah.
they said just how much fun they had with it. So the intermissions, I'm actually excited about those parts as well as the courses. I get how pro players, they want I guess the traditional 3 laps, but I'm rocking with the intermissions. I'm excited
Nice.
about it.
You know what's funny about you talking about the courses and like people's thoughts on like the straightaways, because I heard that too, is like that was so not something I thought. Like I didn't know that people were gonna complain about that, because when I was seeing like any trailer, you could count it even from the April 2nd like reveal, or when was the reveal when they just showed like, here you guys, this is 30 seconds, it's called the Switch 2, here it is, like remember that? And we just saw like a Mario Kart game.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever
Yeah.
that happened, even
Yeah.
that, that little trailer, anything that I've seen, I never thought of that as a critique, and that's fine for those people, I guess. But like, I see the courses, they give us so many of these kind of bird's eye views or like cool binocular views, and the courses all look wonderfully fleshed out to me. So I don't get it, man, but hey, I'm a Mario Kart lover, so I probably have a bias. So, what about, is there anything that you see that you either dislike or you think, like, I'm not sold yet? Or, like, what's the thing that you're curious about?
So for me personally, I can appreciate the wackiness of the characters that they have, of like the
The cow and the
cow
cataquack.
penguin, more like Penguin and the
Cataquack.
Sidestepper, and
Pokey.
Cal. Actually, Cal doesn't bother me too much but
That's because
it's
Cow is a
like,
G unit.
but like the Sidestepper, the
Fishbones.
little. There's so many other characters
Mm-hmm.
like to me that should be already revealed. And again, we don't know that other ones are not coming yet. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm like, I have an open mind about it. I'm
Exactly.
saying it threw me off, but like, I'm hoping, Diddy Kong, the Kooplings, like I said, just to think of characters out there. I guess I think they were called the Brutes that was in Mario Odyssey, the
Yeah.
rabbits. You know what I mean? Like just throwing ideas out there. If you're talking about throwing some random stuff like that, they would have been great for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Professor Egad, like
Oh.
I'm still open that and hoping that there's going to be more of a selection of characters out there. But that was the thing that it kind of caught me off. I was like, what the heck? And I sent you like a little video and people like, what the heck is this? You know what I mean? But
Cataquack.
yeah, but I'm not gonna say fully I don't like it
Yeah.
because Nintendo is known for like their wackiness, which is what I like Nintendo. You know what I mean? That's why I like Nintendo. They do stuff like that, which is like what people probably like, what the hell? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
but like I can appreciate by them doing stuff like that as well. I'm just hoping that we get some actual characters that people will be excited about.
So you're kind of saying mains, like,
Main, yeah, Diddy
because
Kong,
yeah, I was like, the obvious one is Diddy Kong is not in there right now.
right?
That's a very obvious, glaring one.
But what about you? What's things that you're excited about and something that you might be off-putted about?
Wiley, I don't know how you answered the excited one because it's like I can't just pick one thing, It's like my brain is firing off in so many directions I can't even think straight, Because I'm just like, oh man, like I really do think though it's gonna relate to your answer because one of the things that I just love about it is looking at the levels. I cannot believe the masterful design that we've gotten to these levels, and that's something they spoke about in the Ask the Developer a little bit. And so, like, I like that they gave us a little bit of an insight into that, and mainly what they talked about was, like, well, another thing we did was we just made the road larger. It's just wider, it's bigger, the scope of the world is bigger, and that's why, again, when Wally was talking about, we put in 24 racers, because they were thinking, let's say that it's like super big, right? And then you're also traveling from this course to the next course in the race. Well, it looks like if there's not, let's say there's only 12 racers, it does kind of look like, hey, this is a little barren. And so they wanted still the presence of other players because that's what Mario Kart's about unless you're doing time trial. It's like it's always about like, who can I beat? Can I hit them? So you got to have the craziness of Mario Kart. But, so I really feel like if I had to just kind of nail down one thing only, which I don't want to, I want to say everything. One thing only is probably just the levels, the courses. It's just absolutely looking so cool. Like, I just feel like even Moo Moo Meadows is coming back, and it looks just wonderful. It's just like you're out in this podunk, ding, 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 and like the cows are all there, and you could race as cow while there's cows out there. Oh, it's amazing. Amazing. They look so good. And so, if I had to think about, well, is there something I either don't like or am curious about or not sold on yet, it was actually also the characters only from the perspective of other people complaining. So I wasn't even really thinking about it for myself. I just kind of know the thinking of people is that it's a strike against Mario Kart when you actually do add in so many characters, yet a lot of them are what Nintendo labeled as the NPCs, which we all know what that means. That's just what they called them. They also called them obstacle characters. So you think about Pokey, think about the characters that were sort of standing in your way, like Sidestepper, and especially in N64 days. But even in the Wii, I can think of a lot of levels, I guess, that had Sidestepper. But yeah, because if somebody thinks that they really wanted to play as Diddy, right? Some kind of main character that didn't happen to get in, they're gonna be so pissed that Cataquack did, and that Snowman did, and Sidestepper did, and Fishbones, and everybody. And so that's more about other people's thinking, because I am perfectly happy having Peach and Waluigi. Waluigi just looks like me if I had turned to drugs and musical theater like in my life. That's basically me is Waluigi. I'm quite the looker. But Peach is my baby, so I've got my two racers pretty much, and I'll obviously try everybody, but I'm just saying that's my two main characters. That's why it's kind of more about other people. I did have certain reservations thinking like, hey, Wally, can we actually play just regular races like you and I are now? And they did confirm that. I don't know if it was in the Ask the Developer recently, but there's something that said like, well, you can do the traditional racing. It is a cool concept, yeah, to like drive from course to course and actually see the pathway to get there. But I didn't want that to be like the only experience. What if we're online and it's just like, I'm tired of this. I want to get to the next course. I don't know. So I do think that they specified, which again, Nintendo, it's like my stance on this, or you could quote me almost as saying this is like, Nintendo is very clear except when they're not. So that means like Nintendo could either be very ambiguous when they speak, or they're like very, very clear, you know, like their words mean exactly what they say. So that's funny because it's like, isn't that anyone? You're clear or you're not? But I just mean that there's not a whole lot of space in between those two things.
Yeah, I get what you're coming from. And yeah, they did specify like, you know, in versus mode, like I don't know how it's going to be online, like worldwide and stuff like that. Like how they're going to have the races. Are they going to be split up between the traditional 3 laps, or is it going to be the ambitions? Because you know, clearly driving course to course, that's like the big thing here. You know what I mean? So hopefully, like when I say online, of course, if I set up my own room, I have you to join, like yeah, we can set it up how we want it. But like if you just join a regular online room, like how well that setup going to be? You know what I mean? Like is it going to be you choose a course and you choose which path to drive which course? Because you know, like right now it gives you 3 courses and then random to choose from.
Yeah.
When you do. Right, like how is that going to work online when you do versus mode choosing the course? Which, you know, again, how I said I'm okay with the intermissions, but everyone isn't. And some people want the traditional 3 laps, and I get, you know, you want variety. But is Nintendo going to do that for like your regular worldwide online run? That's what I'm, you know, saying. Yes, they did confirm you can choose traditional 3 laps, but again, how is the worldwide room going to work when you're choosing a course?
Yeah. Do you think that there's going to be DLC for this game in the Mario Kart World?
I hope so. I've been seeing a lot of theories of how people say how they might see how they would like it to work. Like I don't see them adding like just a course in the world that they already have built. Like when I say like adding a course between Shy Guy Bazaar and like the Desert Hills. Like I don't see them just slapping the course in between there. I see them adding like another island to the continent, or having like use your hovercraft, or you know, your boat, or you know, jet ski, wherever you call them, and drive to the next, you know, nearby island.
Yeah,
and that's how they courses. Like I see it happening more that way. One of my favorite courses in Mario Kart 8's Piranha Plant Slide. Like, I would like for them to like have like make that like a little pipe area to go down, you know, go underground a little bit. You know what I mean? And add that. And the other Piranha Plant pipe course that was on Mario Kart Tour but never came on the I forgot the name of it, but it was on Mario Kart Tour but it never came in the Booster Course Pass. But having that and Piranha Plant Slide together, man, that would be so epic. Like I could see that happening so clearly. But
nice.
How they would that's the only way I could see them adding it. What about you? Do you see them adding it any type of particular?
It's tough because, like, I think normally I'd be like, yes, like, no matter what, yes, I think they are, but I just, there's something that is in my brain. Sometimes this happens with Nintendo, is I feel like I know them so well. I just kind of am knowledgeable and experienced as you are with Nintendo as a business and as a consumer from our standpoint, consuming Nintendo content. There's something in my brain. It's like something's in the back there kind of thinking like, well, you know, there might not actually happen. And I don't know why. why. It's like sometimes there's just that inexplicable thing about Nintendo that I can't explain, where maybe it's the fact that Nintendo sometimes makes the choice of, here, there's this obvious thing that you should do, and then they don't do it. You know, it's this very obvious thing, and it might be that it's online for Pikmin 3. That was such a obvious thing. It would have worked so well, especially when they brought Pikmin 3, the deluxe version, to the Switch. You know, that probably would have been a good time to say hey, let's throw in some online. Then they made Pikmin 4, and there's still no true online. So I think that's kind of that thing that sometimes sticks out with me with Nintendo, is it just occasionally there's that thing that's obvious, and they don't do it. And so everybody's obviously hoping too, if they do a DLC, they want it to be free. I kind of don't think it's going to be. I feel like they're going to charge for it.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be rough.
If anything that's going to be free, and I can see the saltiness that people feel about adding Cal, but not giving Cal any costumes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does seem a little lazy. I'm gonna keep it a stack.
You're keeping it for real.
It does. So if they bring any type of free DLC, I might can see them doing that, adding some free outfits for those that don't have any, or adding more new outfits for the characters that already have them. Okay. But as far as the tracks, whole new characters, which probably be in the bundle with the tracks, oh, absolutely not. It is not going to be free. I'm sorry, it's not.
And the only reason people are going to hate it is because the $80 thing. I feel like they would have actually accepted it if it was a $60 game or something, which, by the way, I don't know how many $60 games are going to be left in this world that are full-fledged first-party IPs, you know? I don't know how many of those are left. It's probably going to be more like $70 games. Because, I mean, really, that's where we were kind of with the Switch 1 at the kind of end of the gen. But.
Yeah. And I know we talked about our favorite characters, but Bowser Jr., that's my boy. I'll go in more detail why Bowser Jr. is one of my favorites. Y'all will find that out. In the video when Mario Kart. That's the time a fucking lightning took away my power before I could use it. But my other main, I started liking Pauline a lot. And she and Bowser Jr. are my mains on Mario Party Jamboree. So I I love Daisy too, but Pauline, she's growing that's my and I see her being my other main.
Yeah, it was really nice to have the Odyssey era usher in the fact that they are hey, we can call back to Pauline, we haven't used her for so long. And so if you're gonna start out with Pauline and then never have her again, that would have been whack. So it's nice. And they made her a baddie, man, dude. She's they're making her fine, dude. They're all here, let's just give her some nice boobies. And Nintendo typically they don't really go on the too sexual route, but then they give Peach that cake. Yeah, you see Peach in them little ass shorts. I'm they know what they're doing.
But yeah, I'm so excited, man. I can't wait for June 5th. I am ready. I couldn't take off work usually.
That sucks.
That I'm so excited about. I usually take off work, making an extended weekend. But just how things falling, in my office, I can't take off this time. But I'm so looking forward to it, man. This game, it just looks so good. I understand. I don't know about you. When people when you touched on it when they threw out just a little trailer back in January about the Switch 2, and they threw the little clip of Mario Kart in there, and you saw it was this long road, and people were already making their theories then, it's going to be an open world. And then I didn't see the vision. I was like, open world Mario Kart, how and I was thinking it was going to be more like Sonic All-Star Races Transform. I love that. Way the track transform each lap, and how you jump from a jet ski to your regular cart to a airplane. It blew my mind. And I could see with it being this big world like that, maybe the track would change each lap and you have to change your vehicle. That's what I was thinking was going to be more so things like that. And Mario Kart Tour was kind of like a low-key prototype of how they had the city tracks and had them different Tokyo Drift 1, Tokyo Drift 2. Like, it was going to be the Mario Bros. Circuit 1, Mario Bros. Circuit 2, and then probably have Mario Bros. Circuit 3 where it'd be all of them together. You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking it was going to be something like that. In which, low key, when you think about it, Tora was kind of like the setup, like, you know, with the missions. Well, missions really started with DS, but you know,
the costume thing, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, I think they were experimenting with Tor to see. Of course, you know, we all know now development started way, you know, back in 2017. But, you know, I still believe like some of the ideas in Tor they brought over to Mario Kart World, and you know, man, it's just I can appreciate now. I already appreciated when we saw the direct back in on April 2nd, but like really listening, watching, reading their interview, just the effort they put in making this game, like it made me appreciate it even more than what I already did. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. And you're right. That Ask the Developer, I think, was a needed thing. So Kit and Krista deserve credit for making me think of this idea, but it was like, they really are kind of giving information about the Switch 2 as a whole, but especially Mario Kart World, in lots of different ways. So you have to go out kind of searching for it rather than it all being in one place. So let's just do one direct that has everything, right? No, it's not like that. You gotta go search for the Ask the Developer. You gotta go search for like the media being able to play it for an hour. Then you gotta search for their direct, and the Treehouse Live played it. You know, and it's like the Treehouse Live not only played it, but then like one day they did this thing, and then the other day they did the Knockout Tour. Like, so it's just everything is scattered about there. So if you wanted to like research this game, somebody needs just the catch-all video that has like everything about Mario Kart World. But hey, you don't got a lot of time left because this is going to release very soon. It's going to be here sooner than we all realize, and I'm loving it. Just about 2 weeks when we record this. I mean, I'll probably upload this pretty soon, but yeah, so I'm going to be streaming Mario Kart World at least on launch day after I've slept after the like midnight launch and stuff. But yeah, that'll be on Dr. Kendall Commentaries. But at least for Task Force 5, the channel that people are maybe listening to us and watching us, you know, we discussed the Switch 2 and gave our honest opinions on that, and people were listening to it, Wally. So I just said, let's do it for Mario Kart World.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we thank everybody for listening to us. But as far as the videos go for that, you know, that'll be probably on Friday. You know, Wally's got to do the typical kind of like 9 to 5 job thing working there. But anyway, yeah, so the point being, you know, we'll be here with some stuff probably the day after launch, really. So yeah, we appreciate everybody for listening to us. And
yes, sir. And, you know, we love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. So much more to come when Mario Kart World releases. Like, just tune in with us. We want to give you some, you know, little history between, you know, some great topics coming. Just have a look at some great topics.
Alrighty, well, that's it. Thank you so much, and peace.